Hello and Assalamualaikum everyone. This is our thesis video presentation on factors affecting mental health problem among university students during pandemic. We are BA2505B students from UITMCK Kota Baru campus studying Bachelor in Business Administration with honor, Business Economic, and for this thesis research we were supervised by Associate Professor Dr. Zuhal HUSSAIN. My name is Najihah binti Abdul Manaf with my four others group member which are
My name is NURUL FATIHAH IKMAL binti ZAIDAN.
My name is Muhammad AIMAN bin Hussein.
I am NURNAZIHAH IZZATI binti Muhammad SURAHMAN.
My name is NGAINI binti NGAINI.
Before we start, this is our thesis presentation outline. We started with Chapter 1, Introduction of the Study, Chapter 2, Literature Review, Chapter 3, Research Methodology, Chapter 4, Result and Discussion, and lastly, Chapter 5, which is Conclusion and Recommendation.
Firstly, let's discuss about background study. The whole world was shaken regarding the news of COVID-19 virus that firstly found in Wuhan, China. This quickly spreading virus have made implementation of COVID-19 pandemic. The implementation due to this virus bring negative impact on mental health. The study revealed that about half of respondents who participate in the study experience stress, anxiety, and depression during the lockdown. This negative impact on mental health also experienced by students, especially university students. Fear of infection, lack of health knowledge, and basic necessity and sense of being trapped were likely to lead them to psychological stress among them.
University life is the most stressful stage for every youth's life that will lead to difficulty in studying since they feel the pressure of doing that. According on one study, about 20.4% of students experience minimal anxiety, 6.6% experience moderate anxiety, and 2.8% experience on the highest level of anxiety. The further study is necessary to identify what kind of factors that can affect a student's mental health in Malaysia.
There are 5 research objectives in our study. Number 1, we want to examine the relationship between financial problem and mental health. Number 2 is to examine the relationship between food addictions and mental health. Number 3, to examine the relationship between online game addiction and mental health. Number 4 is to examine the relationship between online distance learning, ODL, and mental health. And the last one, number 5, we want to examine the relationship between social media addiction and mental health. Next, our research questions of the study. Number 1, if there is any relationship between financial problem and mental health. Number 2, is there any relationship between food addictions with our mental health? And question number 3, do online game addiction relate to mental health? Number 4, does online distance learning, ODL, will impact to mental health? And the last one, number 5, what is the relationship between social media addictions with mental health?
In order to complete the research, the researcher need to find the respondent of their questionnaire or survey. However, since this study was conducted during the outbreak of COVID-19 in Malaysia, it is clearly impossible for a researcher to reach their respondent face-to-face since their aim respondent are the student and the researcher are still having online distance learning. This will be their major limitation in conducting this research, which is to find the respondent. In addition, the researcher will have a limited information about how the university students are coping with this pandemic since opinion may vary from different people depending on their current situation.
To define mental health problem, according to Giroch 2015, there are 3 categories to divide the mental health problem, which are the emotional well-being, behavioral, and cognitive, where they are emphasizing how people behave, think, and feel. And Kessler, distress psychological distress skill, has been chosen as our theory of choice. According to Kessler and Rovek, 1992, part of mental health component at the United States National Health University Survey. There are 10-item version K10 and 6-item K6 to measure the scale of people mental health state. The scale range from 1, which is none of time, to 5, that represent all of time, and the total range will be in 10 to 50.
For the independent variable, let's start with financial problems. According to the research made by Richardson, financial problem can contribute to mental disorder. For students, we might feel stressed and cannot focus on study when we face financial problems or our parent is a low-income person. This can lead them to mental health problem and also affected their performance in class. Next, eating behavior. In Economic Times News stated that people who addicted to eating may experience intense craving, which can make them to eat in a large quantity even though they are not hungry. This can lead them to unhealthy body and poor mental health. This can be worse if students have addiction on unhealthy food, which can make them feel stressed when they cannot satisfy their craving. Next, it has been said that biopsychosocial system have a role in addiction, and internet gaming is one of the examples of such addiction. Same to food addiction, students also might feel stressed when they cannot play online gaming, and this can lead them to experience mental health problems like anxiety, stress, and depression.
Next, the fourth independent variables is online distance learning (ODL). During this tough phase, the main concern is not whether online learning methods can provide high-quality education, but rather how academic institutions will be able to implement online distance learning on such scale by CARE 2020. The fifth independent variable is on social media addiction. According to Iraslan Kapang 2015, Hong Huang Lin and Chu at 2014, and Mali and Han 2015, the longer the time that someone spends in using social media, such as Facebook, it will make it easier for them to feel stress, anxiety, and also depression, since it is positively associated with mental health problems.
The research framework. This figure is our conceptual framework. The independent variables are variables that stand alone and are not changed by the other variables that we are trying to measure. In this research, our independent variables are financial problem, food addictions, online games, online distance learning, ODL, and social media. Meanwhile, the dependent variables are variables that depend on other variables or factors. Our dependent variables are mental health, which, from all the independent variables above, lead to mental health problem. So, there were 5 hypotheses will be formulated on the research content. The research objective is we want to examine all of our independent variables, and the researcher will get to know at the end whether they achieve as predicted in the objective or not.
There are many types of research design that can be used in order to achieve the purpose of study. The type of research design that we'll use in this current study is correlational research. Correlation research investigates the relationship between variables. The aim of this study is to determine the relationship between independent variables, which are the main factor with the dependent variable. There are also many types of instruments that can be used to collect the data. For this research, questionnaire will be used as an instrument in the process of gathering data. The questionnaire consists of 3 sections for question, which are the section A, section B, and section C. The researcher will use interval scale in this section to measure their level of mental disposition by using 5-point Likert scale format. For example, the 5-point Likert scale will be 1. Strongly disagree, 2. Disagree, 3. Neutral, 4. Agree, and 5. Strongly agree.
Moving to the sampling part, the population that we aim in this study are all undergraduate students in UiTMCK Kota Baru campus, which in the sample frame as registered student in 2020. Next, for the sampling technique, we use a purposive sampling technique, while the sample size will referring to the number of participants included in this study. And to collect data, we decide to choose a survey by giving questionnaire for the student.
This is the demographic analysis that we collect from our questionnaire that we shared to the respondent. Based on this, 66.5% of the respondent is male student, and the highest range of age is 21 to 23 years old at 88.2%. Next, Most of them are from business economic program with the highest percentage at 34.1%. Then, students in Part 5 have the highest frequency at 37.6%, and most of the respondents came from rural area at 50.3%.
The reliability test. It was conducted by computing Cronbach alpha. The measurement is to know how close the various items that constitute a scale correlate. The research focused on internal consistency using Cronbach alpha, as this is the commonly used for the reliability index. The table shows the reliability statistic for the variable used. The result on the table show whether the questionnaire used and distributed is valid or not. What we can see for the mental health show the number of 0.933, while financial show the result of 0.873. The food additions, online gaming, and online distance learning show the result of 0.768, 0.95, and 0.857. A general accepted rule is the score Cronbach alpha of 0.6 until 0.7 indicate an acceptable level of reliability, and 0.8 or greater a very good level. However, scores that are higher than 0.95 are not necessarily good, since they might be an indicator of redundancy. Therefore, it can be concluded that the questionnaire used for this research paper is valid.
Based on one study by Sedgwick in 2014, Spearman's row correlation analysis is a non-parametric alternative that is similar to the Pearson correlation coefficient that is used to measure strength association between the two variables by representing the value from -1 to 1. The result can be interpreted as a very weak relationship when it's from 0.00 to 0.19, and it is very strong when the correlation is 0.8 to 1.0. Hence, for our research, all of variables come out to have significant relationship with mental health, as the study show the independent variable may affect mental health problem among university students.
Simple linear regression was performed to determine the best set of predictor variables in predicting mental health problem. The ANOVA table revealed that the F statistic 54.704 is large and the corresponding p-value is highly significant, and it is proven to be lower than the alpha value 0.05. This indicates that the slope of the estimated linear regression model line is not equal to 0, confirming that there is linear relationship between mental health problem and the 5 predictor variables, which are financial problems, food addiction, online game addiction, online distance learning, and social media addiction. Based on model summary table, that R-square of 0.45 implies that 45% of the variation in mental health problem is explained by the financial problem, food addiction, online game addiction, online distance learning, and social media addiction. Meanwhile, another 55% explained by other variables.
Now, let's see the correlation between each independent variable and mental health. This result may give us better understanding about the relation among those variables. We go for financial problem first. The correlation result between these two variables is 0.523. This gives us indication that they have a significant relationship with a positive moderate correlation. Let's see the next independent variable, which is food addiction. The correlation result that we get using SPSS application is 0.457. From the value of correlation, we can determine that there is a significant relationship between food addiction and mental health. This value also indicates that they have a positive moderate correlation. Next, correlation between online gaming addiction and mental health. The result of 0.340 gives us indication that there is also a significant relationship between this independent variable and mental health, but they have a weak correlation relationship among them. For online distance learning, by using same method in SPSS, we get 0.502. Like previous independent variable, online distance learning also have a significant relationship with mental health. The score of 0.502 gives us indication that the independent variable have a moderate correlation relationship with mental health. Last independent variable, which is social media addiction. Like others, the result of 0.442 tell us that they have a significant relationship with positive moderate correlation.
Based on the result from running the data analysis using SPSS, it can be said that the outcome of this data analysis seems to be the same as previous study. Since all 5 independent variables have significant relationship to mental health, all the hypothesis proposed is supported.
To sum up our research, all the independent variables show a positively significant relationship with mental health. Spearman's row correlation was implemented in this study and showed different level of positive relationship between all results. It is proven, as previous study by Chuang Hock Ting in 2021 also found, that there is a positive relationship between mental health and all independent variables used in this study.
So, our first recommendation for the researcher is that the Ministry of Education need to play an important role in this problem matter, where it is as an essential part of the government effort to address mental health problem among students in Malaysia, such as set a policy to every university in Malaysia to monitor student current mental health by counseling session. The purpose is to establish benchmark for the prevention and treatment of mental health among the students. Not only that, Malaysia Ministry of Health, MOH, must be concerned and aware of this issue of mental health among the students because this is an important agenda that needs to be given serious attention. Apart from that, the MOH need to implement various programs that have the cooperation of cross-agency and non-government organizations. This is really important for MOH to take initiative steps to reduce mental health problems that happen in our country. Lastly, the university itself helps the students that are having financial problems. From the study, the research can detect that most of the students face financial problems that lead to mental health problems. So, the university can help students who have financial problems, especially those student family B14, which give a scholarship or allowance to them.
Despite all of that, the other independent variables that might affect the mental health problems are not included together. For instance, educational system and various types of financial stress. Hence, it is advisable for further studies to conduct and include more independent variables from other angles that has potential to affect the mental health problem. Next, further research is recommended to identify the factor of mental health from different sides, such as personal problems and family relationship, because the two factors are closely related to each other since everyone's condition and problem are varied. Clearly, our own problem will matter a lot to us, so it will directly affect our mental state and can lead to mental health problems. So, it is advisable to be taken into account for the net research. According to news in Malaysia, the government's psychosocial hotline recorded 37,709 calls between April and September 2020. Half of them related to emotional distress worsened by pandemic and MCO. Based on this data, we come up with an idea to do a research on factors affecting mental health problems among university students during pandemic.
As a university student that concerns about the current situation and also face the same problem, we can say that this is relevant for us to conduct this study due to rising cases of mental health problems. That is why we all agree to choose this issue and conducted a detailed research regarding this matter.
Suffice to say, we are going to emphasize again here that our research can be accepted as referring to the previous research of addictive behavior reported by Elsevier that studies about addictive behavior among students in Malaysia during COVID-19 pandemic. However, this report only examines these three factors, which are food addiction, social media addiction, and online gaming addiction.
Hence, we have done some improvements by including another two related variables, which are financial problems and online distance learning (ODL). We have referred various of articles and reports and found out all of these 5 factors have significant relationship with mental health problems.
By conducting all types of suitable analysis such as correlation, regression analysis, and using the Spearman's row correlation analysis, we are able to come out with this conclusion that is significant to say all of our variable will affect mental health problem. That's all from us. Thank you and Assalamualaikum.